Vatican City is an independent country, city-state, and state within Rome, Italy. It's a distinct territory under full ownership, exclusive dominion, and sovereign authority and jurisdiction of the Holy See. Itself a sovereign entity under international law, which maintains the city-state's temporal power and governance, diplomatic, and spiritual independence. It is the smallest state in the world by both area and population, with a population of just under 800 people. Vatican City State is ruled by the Pope, who is both the Bishop of Rome and the head of the Catholic Church. Hi, my name is Kayla, this is Xenu, and we are Cauldron Convos, baby! Catholic Church, Vatican.
Oh yeah.
All the creepy things.
Welcome
of the Vatican.
to...
And Basilica. Sorry.
You finished? Jeez.
Yes.
Welcome to this episode on the road. We've been
road.
traveling, if you notice the new set.
Step up, show up the get up. Okay, yes, the Pope, the priest, the bishop, the archbishop, the almighty, the, what other words are there for a priest?
Bless you.
The holy diocese archbishop of the, I don't know.
It was quite unfortunate. HalloweenCostumes.com was out of stock of the altar boy costumes that I wanted.
Or the nun, but altar boy, or just demonic being, maybe Reagan. Yeah, Reagan. A possessed person, that's fine too. But now that we gave you a little bit of the background on the Vatican in general, I wanted to just read a quick little story about the creepiness.
Not the priests.
Not the priests, but if you want to, if you're not into creative stories, then you could just skip ahead a few minutes, or you can use the chapters below to find where we actually get into all of the diddling stories. Sorry. I should be more serious on this one. Okay. Amidst the eerie embrace of ancient stone walls, Vatican City, the world's smallest independent state, harbors shadows that whisper of centuries-old secrets. As twilight descends upon this minuscule enclave, the grandeur of St. Peter's Basilica is engulfed in darkness. The air grows heavy with the weight of history. Each cobblestone beneath your feet seemingly holding the echoes of countless prayers and the silent screams of forgotten souls.
And children.
Oh no. And those that were murdered from being exorcised. That's EXOR, not EXER.
We all know priests don't work out.
Yeah, no. They get in their cardio another way. Anyway... The Vatican Museum's home to priceless artifacts transform into a labyrinth of whispers after nightfall. The eyes of painted portraits seem to follow your every move, and the ancient sculptures appear as if they might come to life, reaching out from the past with ghostly fingers. Okay, sorry. Beneath the solemn glow of the moon, the Apostolic Palace stands tall and imposing. In the heart of Vatican City lies the Vatican Necropolis, a realm of the dead hidden beneath the living. Some claim to hear faint whispers carried on the stale crypt air, voices that speak of forgotten sins and unfinished penance. An inexplicable sense of foreboding creeps over you.
And it's not Father Phil.
Okay, so let's dive in with the exorcisms.
I feel like a lot of churches around the world, religions in general, they don't really acknowledge the existence of like Satan and like demons.
I feel like they might, but maybe not demons and like not possession.
But the Catholics like recognize.
They love it. They love it a little bit too much. Like it's a little concerning on how much they're pushing this whole exorcism thing. Maybe they're working with the devil.
They're working with the devil to keep the lights on.
They're like, okay, you are going to possess X, Y, and Z. We're going to go in. We're going to charge them a small donation fee for the church. Small donation being like, 50 pounds of silver and a limited edition Bible that can only be found now in the Pope's archives.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's fine, but just don't possess me. But you know what the good thing is? Demons only possess religious people. So we're in the clear right now.
Going over like
I don't think anything's possessing
some of the
you
cases. Yeah, as I'm like defacing the Lord. Yeah. As we go over some of the cases, I mean, we're not going to go over any specific ones in this episode, but like it's always a devout Catholic that gets possessed.
Yeah, it's like you're almost asking for it if you're Catholic. These are some bold statements considering Catholicism is like the number one Christian. I think it's just the number one thing in all time, no?
No, there are more Muslims.
Oh, there are more. Okay. But it's definitely the number one Christian
faith
denomination. Yeah,
yes.
Faith. Don't get possessed out here, or otherwise a Catholic priest might come into your home and charge you a small fee or donation and It's not always
Take
monetary.
your innocence.
Yeah. We covered a whole podcast on exorcisms specifically, but that was our first one, and
It was tough.
It was tough. It was
was
rough.
tough.
It was tough. It was mussy. It was crusty.
Watch it at your own will.
Actually, watch it because it was only a year ago, and I feel like we've improved so much.
We've come such a far way.
We've come so far. Sorry, do I keep?
Two friends.
Oh, I thought I kept going like this. I do that. I talk a lot with my hands.
What are you, Italian?
Hey, we're always on Art Avenue.
Pizza, pizzeroni.
I miss Art Avenue pizza. Give me a calzone and a cicerone and a... That's not a cicerone.
Okay, next.
That's a Sicilian pepperoni pizza, let me tell you. A cicerone. Did I make that up? Is that bad? Anyway, as you may know, the Catholic Church authorizes the use of exorcisms for those who are believed to be victims of demonic possession. They're all for it. They have like guides on it. They have tutorials. Like the Catholic Church, I would be surprised if they didn't have a YouTube channel that was like exorcisms.
Like a hidden one. It's definitely hidden.
Yeah, it's like private. Like you have to have the link.
You have the link.
You have to have the link. We don't have the link. Maybe I'll ask like a Catholic priest. Maybe I'll get on the... Yeah, I don't know anyone, but we can. That's our mission.
This is doable.
We try to We should. We should infiltrate the Catholic Church, steal their YouTube tutorial videos on how to exorcise
We could take your little cousin Timmy.
Oh, yeah. Screw that guy.
That was a joke. There's no Timmy.
We're not going to sell our little... Yeah, whatever. The first official guidelines for exorcism were established in 1614, but those guidelines were later revised by the Vatican in 1999 as the demand for exorcisms increased. Is that correlating with the internet boom?
I think so.
What's going on there? Conspiracy?
Apple stock.
According to the Vatican's guidelines issued in 1999, quote, the person who claims to be possessed must be evaluated by doctors to rule out a mental or physical illness. So I guess I kind of appreciate that.
Yeah, it just brings more validity to it that is real.
So think about how many Catholics there are in the world, right?
Like
think
a billion or something?
Yeah, and think about how many doctors, mental, whatever.
Not a billion.
Not a billion, but there's a good portion of them who might be Catholic, who might be like, no, you're this is not solved by me.
I feel like doctors are very skeptical.
What if someone goes to like a psychiatrist and they're like, I'm possessed, blah, 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 and the psychiatrist doesn't even just want to deal with them? They don't want to have to. It's like, this is too much work.
Yeah.
Like, let's just send them off.
Like, if you were a psychiatrist, you would be lazy. Be like, oh, no, you're possessed.
Okay.
Off to the priest.
Cue this when eventually I've tried to pursue psychology and I utterly failed. But anyway, I already did that, so dab on myself. I mean, yeah. So at least the Vatican requires that each diocese have a specifically trained priest who is able to diagnose demonic possession and perform exorcisms when necessary. Now, how many dioceses? Is there diocese?
There's many archdioceses.
How many
in the country.
diocese are there?
Many.
Hundreds.
Thousands.
Probably like, so at least they have one, okay? I feel like that doesn't really give anything, but I guess at least in a perfect world, the priest would go up through the chain of little priests. Oh, that was not supposed to be a joke. Like they go up the chain, like what you would do if you were at a company. I mean, this is a company that actually functions
as
well.
A priest, and then you become, I think Monsignor is a priest rank, but that's pretty high.
Yeah, cardinal, is that a thing?
Yeah.
If you have someone that's coming to you, right, you're just like a low-ranking priest, and they're like, I'm possessed, Father. And you're like, oh, shh. And then you go up to your guy. Like, you have someone that oversees you, who has someone that oversees. Do you think it's really going to get to the diocese guy?
If they think it's legit. So say you're there, and you're speaking in, like, Aramaic or like ancient Hebrew.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to crap their pants.
Really? You don't think they're going to be like, I can take this guy?
Imagine if a little kid comes up to you and just starts like yelling at you in Latin. And all priests study Latin, at least Catholic.
I feel like a priest would go to the head guy for a diddler, but if they wanted to cure the possession on their own to show that they are worthy of being
a sin.
cardinal.
That's a sin. They're all about right and wrong.
They're right about right and wrong.
Well,
truly,
ironic.
Just like how doctors, all you have to do is go to med school and, train. Doesn't make you, or police officers. You ever think about that?
To go to med school.
It's like the worst person in your high school. Think about the worst absolute piece of trash from your high school. They're a cop.
Probably.
Because, that's all that they can do. And I'm not saying all cops are bad. I'm not saying it's easy to become one because, Lord, I cannot run a mile under 12 minutes. And that's embarrassing to admit on the internet. But I'm doing it. Just like little old Matt Wallabwakwi, I don't know, I just made that up, should admit that he's a piece of trash and that's why he's a cop. The Vatican offers a course on exorcism, which in 2019, for the first time, was open to other members of other Christian denominations. It took all of this time. Okay, they were performing exorcisms back in the 1600s, and all of a sudden, in 2019, just 4 years ago, they want to all of a sudden open it up to other Christian denominations.
It's because the devil's everywhere nowadays. Look at TikTok, Instagram, YouTube.
But the devil was always everywhere. They were just too selfish. They just wanted to collect all the cash. That's how do you think they became the largest? They're like, oh, we're so ahead of everyone. We can finally release the secret formula to end demonic possessions.
Yeah. I love those YouTube videos where they exorcise people like 100
like
people at a time. They're like, Lord, be gone! Boom. And then they like pass out. And then like another person comes up, be gone!
Okay, not again. Okay. Anyway,
that could be my new job. I could be an exorcist at one of those churches. I'm wearing the robes.
See,
or like the snake. They got the snake. I saw a Vice documentary about the people with the snake. They're like in the Appalachian. They're running around with the snake.
Do you think the Catholic Church truly, really cures people of demonic possession for free?
Yes.
Really?
Well,
we should.
It's a quid pro quo. They're getting something. Someone needs some level.
Someone needs to make a documentary on this. Like,
watch it be like a tax write. Well, they already are tax exempt, but watch it be some sort of like crazy thing.
No. I think they're charging. I think there has to be something. They're probably like, to get our resources.
No, the church is free.
The Gale Encyclopedia of the Unusual and Unexplained describes that an exorcism was a confrontation and not simply a prayer, and once it has begun, it has to finish no matter how long it takes. Even if they have to use the restroom, they're pooping in the Pampers. Even if they have to eat, they're eating a quick little snack. They're not making a dinner.
Well, exorcisms happen in sessions sometimes.
I know. So whatever. So it's supposed to be the same priest that finishes it off. But what if they can't handle it?
Well, then they get another priest in.
I guess so.
They tag team.
If the exorcist stops the rite, then the demon will pursue him, which is why the process being finished is so essential. So the demon wants to pursue the priest. They think it's hilarious, which I think is kind of funny too. And I am not the devil, and maybe that's bad to say.
They should get all of the pedophile priests, train them to be exorcisms, but really crappy ones. They go do an exorcism, then they get possessed, and then we can just like put them on an island somewhere.
Yeah, but I don't think that people would let them go to an island somewhere. I think they would release them in New York City streets, and they would attack me on the subway. Government is not going to put them all on an island. They're going to let them loose out in the streets.
The possessed priest?
Anyone that's ill.
Yeah, that is true. New York City does like putting their mentally ill on the streets.
And they don't know what to do with them. They just let them go.
That's a whole nother podcast. We're not getting into that.
And after the exorcism has been finished, the person possessed feels a, quote, kind of release of guilt and feels reborn and freed of sin. Not all exorcisms are successful the first time. It could take days, weeks, or even months and years of constant prayer and exorcisms. And okay, here we go. Here's the interesting data here. I don't know why I'm holding the mic like this and you're holding it normal, and I'm holding it as if it's like I'm a, I don't know. Okay. The chief exorcist of the Vatican performed over 100,000 exorcisms in his lifetime.
Is he 1,000 years old?
No, I think he died at I think he's dead, but
how long was he doing this for?
Father Gabriel Amorth is a lay priest and served as the chief exorcist of the Vatican. Imagine that on LinkedIn. Chief exorcist.
That's kind of cool.
CEOV, chief executive exorcist of the Vatican. Let's go. He served for 60 years, so he was only doing this for 60 years. And he's believed to have performed approximately 160,000 exorcisms.
Okay. Let's do some math here. So he served for 60 years, so
yes.
Do 160,000. Or I'll do it.
Yeah. 160,000 exorcisms.
Divided by 60. So that's 2,666 divided by 365. So he did 7.3 exorcisms a day.
Uh-huh.
So he did 7 exorcisms a day.
So he did 7 exorcisms
every
a day.
day. for 60 years.
And this means that actually, maybe that's not true, because maybe he only saw people that were
I thought he was
approved
only
by
there
someone
for 30
else.
years.
No, you know what the funny part was? 99% of the people that come to priests aren't actually possessed. They get sent away. So he's seeing that's only 1% of the people.
So that's 1% of the people. So if it's 7.3, 700 people a day.
Yeah. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's just say that some other priest below him is weeding out the mentally ill from the demon, and then they're sending the
even if
possessed.
He's seeing only possessed people, he's
7
seeing
a day.
7 a day. That's 1 an hour.
And then they're
7 days a week for 60 years.
And then they're saying that sometimes it takes days, weeks, months, even years. So either he's just that good that he's just like, bam, cured you in an hour.
Or someone is lying.
Someone is lying.
Oh, who could be lying? You mean to say the Catholic Church is lying about something?
You mean to say that the CEEOV, the chief executive exorcist of the Vatican, is lying about how many exorcisms he performed in his own hit book? The exorcism rite is not just limited to the late chief exorcist. It has been performed by various popes over the years. In 2018, BBC reported that the Vatican welcomed 250 priests from across the world to an annual workshop.
That they must. Okay, if this shit is real, excuse my French, not my Latin or Italian, get it? Mm-hmm. If this is real, these are the people that are going to have the film of it like actually happening.
Yeah.
I've heard some weird stories on Reddit, some weird stories online of, YouTube of like these crazy exorcisms, and they're videos, but we don't have the videos. If it's a thing, it's there. Mm-hmm.
But they claim that it's because they don't want to expose the person in the video, aka the person that was possessed.
Oh, please. Trick them into signing a consent form.
But also, like, not one of them, not one of the possessed were so thankful for the Catholic Church that they said, you know what, I want to show this. I want the world to see.
That's true.
It's just so bizarre. And Father Vincent Lampert himself, which is kind of like the first meme of the channel.
He was the first meme.
Following the 1976 death of Anneliese Michel as a result of exorcism, for which 2 priests were convicted of negligent homicide, German bishops banned exorcism. In 2008, the Catholic Church approved plans to establish an exorcism center in Poczernin. In 2018, Poland had 150 exorcists. Their role was seen as fighting the, quote, demons of homosexuality and the, quote, demons of esotericism. Now let's move on to Pope Beorgia, Pope Alexander VI, I believe.
This is a real mystery of the Vatican.
Yeah. Now, his reign was marked by scandal, corruption, and a series of mysterious deaths. He was the head of the Catholic Church from 1492, when Columbus sailed the blue, until his death in 1503. Rumors of poisonings and political intrigue abound, painting a picture of a Vatican steeped in treachery and deceit. But are we shocked, folks? No, we are not.
Not much has changed.
Not much has changed since 1492, when Columbus sailed the blue, and Beorgia was...
You keep just saying the blue. It's really bothering me.
1492 when... Oh. There is no evidence that the Beorgias resorted to poisoning, judicial murder, or extortion to fund their schemes and the defense of the Papal States. The only contemporary accusations of poisoning were from some of their servants, extracted under torture by Alexander's bitter enemy de la Rovere, who succeeded him as Pope Julius II. He was criticized for nepotism as he gave his family members positions of power. Like every finance bro ever. Let's go. Yeah, I'm looking at you. Looking at you, Brendan. I don't know. I feel like this is a generic enough name, but specific enough that you know who you are. If you're Matt. I know if that was the police officer. We can only use each broad, basic white man name per example. Okay. There were widespread rumors and accusations that Alexander VI and his family were involved in various criminal activities, including poisonings and assassinations, to eliminate rivals and consolidate power. Some of these claims are part of historical records, although the extent of his involvement remains a topic of historical debate. Alexander was known for his numerous mistresses and illegitimate children. One of his most famous mistresses was Lucrezia Borgia, his daughter. That's why they have the same name. They didn't get married. It was his daughter.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
And she was actually married off strategically to advance the Borgia family's political interests. So not only is he having an affair with his daughter, he's marrying her off in order to gain political. This is like the worst guy to ever exist, and he was Pope.
Why don't we learn about that in religious ed?
Yeah, let's talk about that. I'm gonna become a Sunday school teacher just to
And
be
just
like,
go off.
That's oh my god.
I'm gonna show up in my Xenu
I
mask.
think I would get sued somehow. One of the most scandalous events associated with Alexander VI was the Banquet of Chestnuts, which is a great name, but the party was a little bit wild. It was a notorious event rumored to have taken place in 1501. It was said to be a wild, immoral party hosted by the Pope, featuring prostitutes and other debaucheries. I'm assuming.
Orange chicken.
Yeah, you know what I mean if you're supposed to know what that word is. Thanks. All right, next thing that the Vatican allegedly...
We're going to jump forward a little bit.
Yeah, we're going to jump all the way to the Nazis. Okay?
Nice.
After the victory of the Allied forces in Germany to end World War II, the Nazis were forced to seek refuge outside of Europe, as we all know. And thousands of Nazis managed to escape to South American countries, specifically Argentina, Chile, and Brazil. Harvard researcher Gerald Steinacre wrote a book that shows travel documents pointing to the Vatican having helped Nazis travel to these countries and escape Europe. Steinacre argues that it was done with the hope of reviving European Christianity and fear of the growing influence of the Soviet Union. The Vatican, however, has refused to comment on these claims. In addition to aiding the escape of thousands of Nazis from Europe, the Vatican was also involved in helping smuggle Nazi-looted art, golf, and other property belonging to Jewish families. Gerald Posner, an American journalist, says that Bernardino Nogara, the financial advisor to the Vatican, is believed to have been one of Nazi spies. He is believed to have instituted a horrifying scheme that allowed the Vatican to invest money in Italian insurance companies that kept the assets from the life insurance plans of the murdered Jewish families.
Oh my God.
Like, what?
That's like so bad.
So since the Vatican was an investor and not a direct insurer, they did not need to return any of the money made using this scheme.
Unreal.
But the most controversial is the Vatican's dealing with Hitler. Gerald Posner, a historian, points out that the Vatican received church tax from Hitler every year. Wow. You know.
Stay woke.
Now let's talk about another scandal involving a different pope, but a more recent one. So the Pope Benedict scandal. It's kind of controversial. I still don't really know how to feel about it because on one hand, this pope was seemingly trying to help and improve the Vatican, you know, the church, the Catholic Church in general.
Public relations as well.
But seemed like he was covering some things up as well. At the time, he was Ratzinger, okay? He was a cardinal, 2002. He asked Pope John Paul II to root all accusations of sexual abuse to his office, where he instituted changes meant to deal with accused priests of assault. Then, 3 years later, Ratzinger eventually became Pope Benedict, the head of the Catholic Church, in 2005. From 2004 to 2014, the Vatican defrocked, which means remove the holy title of, 848 priests who R-worded or assaulted children and sanctioned another 2,572 with lesser penalties, according to the church. During that time, his office had received over 3,400 accusations, so it seemed like things were moving in the right direction since he was holding these priests and other clergymen accountable. He also wasn't avoiding the topic like a lot of the other popes prior to his role as pope. In 2008, Benedict acknowledged, quote, the shame which we have all felt over abuse reports and said those responsible for the evils should face justice. 2 years later, he said abusive priests, quote, disfigured their ministry and brought profound shame and regret on the church. That same year, 2010, he issued new rules aimed at stopping abuse. These included allowing church prosecution of suspected abusers for 20 years after the incidents occurred, up from the 10 years previously. In 2010, the New York Times reported that church officials, including Ratzinger, had failed to act in the case of a Wisconsin priest accused of assaulting up to 200 boys. The Times reported that church officials stopped proceedings against the priest after he wrote Ratzinger. 12 years later, a church commission report into abuse by Catholic clergy in the diocese found that Ratzinger had, as archbishop, been informed of 4 cases of abuse involving minors, including 2 that had taken place while he was in office, but failed to act on them. In a letter published by the Vatican in February 2022, Benedict issued a general apology to survivors of abuse, writing, quote, "Once again, I can only express to all the victims of abuse my profound shame, my deep sorrow, and my heartfelt request for forgiveness." He was the first pope since the 1400s to step down. The others remained pope until death.
But you made it sound like he stepped down for that reason. He stepped down for health reasons.
Sure.
I think that's important to note that he didn't step
But
down
did he?
because, yeah.
And private documents were actually leaked by his own butler to the author Gianluigi Nuzzi. After reviewing these documents, an internal investigation was held. The investigation revealed that individuals who were not from the Vatican were blackmailing gay bishops since they had broken their celibacy vows.
How do you blackmail a bishop? Like, they have nothing to give you. They live in poverty.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's just a bad... Blackmail someone with money. It's a joke.
Probably
it's
have
a joke.
money, low-key,
It's a
though.
joke.
They could probably take some fun little artifacts, sell them.
Don't blackmail people. It's illegal.
The Apostolic Penetentiary is a secret tribunal that investigates heinous crimes of individuals. It was supposedly found in 1179 and was kept secret until 2009, which seems like a while ago, but wasn't that long ago.
I mean, considered that it's like almost a
1,000 years,
old.
yeah. Only the Pope can grant absolution to people brought to this tribunal. Examples of sins include attempting to assassinate the Pope, a priest exposing the sin or identity of a person who has confessed to them, and so on. The Pope acts as the head of this tribunal and is called the Major Penitentiary, and can either offer absolution or let the automatic excommunication stand. If you're trying to assassinate the Pope...
No, that's like an extreme. They're talking about like, what if they're
that's
like
one
a
of 'em.
prolific predator and then they just get excommunicated and that's like the end of it? Like, that's certainly not enough.
Yeah. Well, let's go back a little bit more in time. The Cadaver Synod. There was a dead man on trial in 897 AD. The trial was for Pope Formosus, which was held by Pope Stephen VI, his successor. Formosus was accused of usurping the papacy despite being dead for 7 months by that point of trial. The body of the Pope was exhumed, dressed in attire, and brought to the papal court for judgment. A deacon was even appointed to speak on the dead Pope's behalf. The dead Pope was found guilty. All his acts as Pope was declared null and void. His body was stripped of the garments that, that were put on him for the trial and dressed in rags instead. And his 3 fingers of benediction were cut off and his body was cast into River Tiber, where ancient Romans disposed of their infamous criminals for centuries.
I always think it's wrong to, go after dead people because they can't defend themselves.
Yeah.
But, like, he's already in heaven at that point. 7 months?
Not anymore.
They're, like, trying a skeleton. They didn't have embalming back. Well, I guess the mummies, the Egyptians had embalming.
Oh, man, that probably stunk. That courtroom stunk. Imagine how much it stunk.
Sorry, like, the gears are going. I'm trying to get a priest joke. I can't.
Imagine all the incense that they had to put to, like, cover up that stench of, like, deceased Pope.
Oh, man, that's nasty.
And then they just, like, cut his fingers off. Like, were there fingers left to cut?
Probably bones. And, like, very loose. Or, actually, the skin probably dried, so it's probably tight.
Ew. Maybe they just bit them off like baby carrots. Make it easier for everyone.
That's what they make the bad priests do.
I just wanted to overall talk a little bit more about assault and not, make
Joke
light of
about
it, not
it.
joke about it, because we tend to do that. But I think it's just because we're so offended by...
I am personally appalled at the Catholic Church.
Me too.
As somebody that grew up going to Catholic school.
Yeah.
I am shocked that there are cases of priests that are convicted of assault in one diocese and then they just get moved to another diocese where they continue to assault people.
Yeah.
There's just no accountability, and I think it's gotten a little bit better, but come on, you got to do better than that.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's wrong. And
Exactly.
am I going to clown on you? Yeah, I clown on everybody.
Exactly.
Sorry, no one's safe.
No one's safe. So I'm going to read this quick little paragraph to sum up about assault in the Catholic Church. Although one paragraph is not enough, you will have to watch many documentaries to learn fully about what is going on and maybe how you can help if you can. I don't know if we can really do
Speak your truth.
Speak your truth, exactly. So the Catholic Church has faced widespread criticism and scandal related to allegations of sexual abuse of minors by clergy members, including priests in various parts of the world. Now, these allegations have not been limited to Vatican City, but have surfaced in many countries where the Catholic Church has a presence. The scandal involving the abuse of minors by Catholic clergy has been a significant issue for the Church. Cases of abuse have been reported over several decades, and victims have come forward with accusations against priests and other religious figures. These allegations have led to numerous investigations, lawsuits, and convictions of clergy members involved in such abuse. The Vatican, as the central governing body of the Catholic Church, has been criticized for its handling of these cases. Critics have accused the Church of not taking sufficient action to prevent abuse, protect victims, and hold abusers accountable. Over the years, there have been efforts within the Church to address this issue, including implementing policies to prevent abuse, providing support for victims, and cooperating with law enforcement authorities. And I think now we are probably at a better place than ever in history.
Information is knowledge, and knowledge and information is basically unlimited on the internet.
I want to just put it on the Catholic Church, even though they are the largest Christian denomination and have had the most.
I feel like it's just the stereotype of the creepy priest.
It is a stereotype, but also there have been a lot of Catholic priests that,
Come on.
But with that being said, there are also other denominations, Christian. There's also other religions where there
bad people are everywhere.
Anyway, let's just end it on that. I feel like we should brighten it up somehow. We should sing. But if you want some more on the Vatican or just any other paranormal, spooky, creepy topics associated with religion or just anything in general, make sure to comment what you want, or you can email us at cauldronconvos@gmail.com, and make sure to subscribe, like per usual.
Yeah, there's a lot more mysteries to the Vatican I think we need to dive into, like the catacombs and
the secret archives are 53 miles with 35,000 volumes of books and such and documents.
I heard they have a first edition Bible signed by Jesus himself.
He's like, "Dear future Pope, I love you."
It's a PSA 8, so it's not that good.
He's like the first Playboy magazine. They probably do. They probably have everything.
It's like Mary Magdalene.
Ew!
Nude on a crucifix. Sorry, I'm going to hell. I'm going to hell.
Yeah, I think we've established that one. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Cauldron Convos, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.